Bobby Joe Long was born in Canova, West Virginia on October of 1953. Bobby Joe Long was also known as a classified ads killer, becoming notorious for multiple rapes and murders in Florida of the early 1980s. He would use the classified ads of the newspaper to find his victims and pick vulnerable targets. He would bind his victims and proceed to rape them.
He experienced a traumatic childhood in the sense he was bullied for a deficiency he was born with, known as gynecomastia, which gave him an extra X chromosome and caused his breast to enlarge, which he would later on end up getting surgery to remove the extra breast tissue. After Long's mother and father separated, he went with his mother and moved to Florida. His mother never spent much time with him. If she wasn't working as a waitress at a diner, she was off on dates with different men. His mother's constant short-term boyfriends caused a lot of anger and rage to build up. Long and his mother also shared a bed with one another until he was about 12 years of age. When asked, Bobby's mother said they didn't have enough money for 2 bedrooms. Long ended up marrying his girlfriend from high school in 1974. They had 2 children together, but later, however, she filed for divorce by the 1980s. After moving to the Tampa area in 1983, Long's murder rate escalated. 8 women were raped and brutally murdered in an 8-month period of time amongst the communities of Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Ocala, Florida. On May 13, 1984, the body of 20-year-old exotic dancer Lena Long was found lying beaten dead with 2 ropes still around her neck and wrists. She had been gagged and both hips broken, having her legs pulled out on 90-degree angles. 2 weeks later, 22-year-old prostitute Michelle Sims' body was found, nearly nude, bound, and with multiple lacerations including a slash across her throat. Then on June 8th, 22-year-old Elizabeth Lauenbeck was reported missing and found 2 weeks later, her body severely decomposed but was not bound like the other victims. Some time passed, then on October 7th, the body of 18-year-old Chanel Williams was found under a barbed wire fence. After being raped and strangled, the victim was shot in the back of the head. Just 1 week later, 28-year-old Karen Dinsfriend's body was discovered, her hands bound by a bandana, shoelace around her neck, and severely beaten. On Halloween night, a 22-year-old prostitute, Kimberly Hoop's dead body was found, extremely decomposed, taking weeks to identify. Then on November 6th, the body of Virginia Johnson was found in a field, her body parts spread all over. It was later determined that an animal had gotten to the body. 6 days later, 21-year-old exotic dancer Kim Swan was discovered dead with a noose tied around her neck, rope burns, and severely beaten and raped. Reports showed that Long apparently defecated at the scene and used the victim's shirt to clean himself. November 3rd, Lisa McVeigh was abducted by Long while riding her bicycle. She was kept hostage by Long at his apartment for about 26 hours and raped repeatedly. She was then taken to his car and they drove away, but instead of killing her, he stopped the car and made her get out. She immediately went to the Tampa police, describing everything she remembered about Long. About 2 weeks later, he was pulled over by Tampa police. They took him in as a suspect and eventually were able to gather enough evidence for arrest. In September of 1985, Long pled guilty to 8 homicides and the abduction and rape of Lisa McVeigh, giving him 26 life sentences, and he is now residing at a prison in Tampa, Florida.